Howdy, folks. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. My name is Kenneth Thomas, and on Wednesdays, I like to cover topics about wellness. Hence the title. Wow! So, folks, if you're catching this on Facebook Live, right up here, you're seeing the little red live, then you need to go to, if this is your first time watching me and you haven't done this already, you need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them permission to identify you. So that way, when you pop up in my comments, I'll be able to know who you are and be able to address you by name. So that's for all of you who haven't done that already. Now, today's subject, is it disease or is it dis-ease? Well, that's kind of an interesting story there with that word, the etymology of it. But let's get down to it. What is disease? Disease is a harmful deviation in the normal structure or functional state of an organism, generally associated with certain signs and symptoms, and differing in nature from physical injury. So in other words, something in an organism isn't working the way it's supposed to, and it's not because the organism got injured, okay? So, and why I said it was interesting is disease actually comes from Middle English, right from Middle French, and it was actually dis-ease, and that was how it was pronounced, I believe, at the time, and it meant a lack of ease or comfort, rather than how we use it today to refer to illnesses, that kind of thing. So it's an interesting thing, but there is some logic to it, in my mind, because if you are psychologically not at ease, there's a very good chance that it is having an impact on your body, which is leading it open to disease. Okay? So there is some correlation between the two. Now, there's four main types of disease when you want to look at it. And by the way, it's really a simple concept. Something ain't working right. So that's why it's simple. It's something isn't working right. There's some deviation. There's something not normal. What makes it complicated is there's so many different types and causes and underlying things that contribute to it. That's where it gets complicated, okay? Now, the four main types of disease, we have infectious disease, and this is the one a lot of us think about. This is going to be the stuff like COVID. This is going to be the stuff like, the flu, all those kind of things, all right? Then there's deficiency diseases, and that means you're lacking something, deficient. Hereditary diseases, and these can be genetic and non-genetic hereditary diseases. And then you also have physiological diseases, okay? So let's go a little bit more into each of these. Now, like I said, an infectious disease are disorders caused by foreign organisms, such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites. So something has gotten into an organism that is a foreign organism, and it's causing a problem. Bacterial meningitis. You have, foodborne illnesses. That is something got into the body. It's not supposed to be there, and it's causing problems. All right. So, any kind of infection, any kind of thing like that is an infectious disease. Now, deficiency diseases were very, very common for a long time. And probably the one that most people have heard of is scurvy, which is a vitamin C deficiency. And sailors were prone to having this back in the days of the old sailing ships, because they'd go so long without fresh fruit and stuff that they would start to have a a deficiency in vitamin C that was causing all kinds of problems in their body. And that disease is known as scurvy. One of the things they used to do to fight off this disease was the Royal Navy, the British Royal Navy used to give everybody a dose of lime juice every day. I don't know if anybody, this may be something that's a bit old-fashioned, but there is the nickname Limey for somebody who's British, and that's where it comes from. Actually, is because lime juice was used as a preventative measure for scurvy. But that's not the only one. You can have calcium deficiency, protein deficiencies. You can have all kinds of different deficiencies that can cause deficiency diseases. All right. And that's really what it comes down to with most deficiency diseases is a lack of proper nutrition. You're not getting the right vitamins and minerals and the proper amounts of carbohydrates and proteins that your body needs to function and to do what it's supposed to do. So that's a deficiency disease. You have hereditary diseases, and these can be both genetic diseases and non-genetic hereditary diseases. A genetic disease would be something where there is something wrong in the gene structure that was passed on to an individual, and that has caused a problem. An example of this would be Down syndrome. Okay, non-genetic hereditary diseases. I think that's where you have like family histories of high blood pressure, heart attacks, those family history kind of things. That's where that kind of comes into. Now, a physiological disease bleh, is a condition that is caused by a malfunction of organs in the body. Now, I have a physiological disease. It's diabetes, and that's caused because the mechanisms in my body to regulate and use blood sugar don't operate the way they're supposed to. So I have this disease, and there are things that I have to do about it. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because understanding these different types of diseases and what you can do about them is one of the key factors in contributing to your overall wellness, okay? I know that I need to be careful of what I eat. I know I need to do certain things to maintain my blood sugar at a level so that way it's not rising and crashing. I need to make sure that I do certain things for that disease. You know, as I get older, I need to be watching my eye health because there's degenerative diseases, which are physiological diseases, like glaucoma, different kinds of things that'll start happening and breaking down and not working the way they're supposed to. These are all different things that you need to be paying attention to, and I know I need to do certain life changes for. So, as far as infectious diseases, we know there are things that we can do about that. We can use disinfectants appropriately. I think I talked about this last week. Do we need to clean or disinfect or both? So when I get a chance to, usually 24 hours after the broadcast, when I get a chance to tomorrow, I will link back to that, or you can just go back and after watching this and see the one from last week. But knowing how to prevent infections, knowing how to take care of those kind of things is what is going to help with the infectious diseases, knowing how to clean properly, knowing how to prevent infection from spreading to different things, knowing how to have a proper diet and nutrition is going to help with deficiency diseases. Knowing if you have hereditary disease and knowing what that means for you and for any of your children and descendants is what you need to do. So basically, once you've identified which of these diseases that you may need to worry about dealing with, there are steps that you can take to mitigate them and to cause them to be a less of an impact on your life. Like with my diabetes, I know my nutrition had to change. I know I had to do certain things, and I'm working on that. You know, the big one for me this year is getting my weight down to the point where I can go to my doctor and go, let's get rid of some of these meds you got me on because I don't think I need them anymore. because I've gotten into the right habits. I've gotten into doing the right things. So in understanding how disease can impact you in your life gives you the knowledge to mitigate and reduce its impact. Okay? From knowing the proper types of cleaners to use, from knowing how you need to clean and how often you need to clean, from knowing how to wash your food so that way you don't have any kind of infection getting from that, to knowing that, hey, yeah, moms and dads were right. We do need to eat our vegetables. Otherwise, we can end up with deficiency diseases. So there's all these different kinds of things that we need to apply. But if we don't have an understanding of where these different types of diseases can impact us, we don't know how to mitigate them. So it's just part of what we need to be learning about. Now, all this week, one of the things that I have been talking about is suicide. And this has been, this was in a lot of ways spurred by what happened over the weekend with Naomi Judd. But it's also something that I've dealt with personally in my life. I have struggled with suicidal ideation in the past. It is not something I'm really happy to talk about. It's not something that I'm comfortable talking about. But you know what? My comfort doesn't matter as much as letting people know that there is help, and it does matter for you to still be here. Okay? So if you or someone you know is struggling with suicide or suicidal ideation, please call the number on the screen, 1-800-273-TALK. And that's 8255 if you don't have the letters on your phone. So reach out to somebody because you matter. You may not feel like it, but suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary situation. Things can get better, but only if you're around to experience it. All right? That's pretty much what I had for you folks. So if you're catching this on Facebook, please follow. And of course, show me your comments. What are some things that you do to help mitigate different diseases that you deal with in your daily life? I know a lot of medical professionals have certain things they have to do depending upon what they're dealing with in certain cases and that kind of thing. If you're catching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And then I've just having one of those days. You ever have one of those where you just feel like you didn't get enough rest, even though you slept for the appropriate amount of time? Blah. All right. This is me, folks. Sometimes I'm a goofball. Sometimes I can't speak. And sometimes, things just go off the rails because, squirrel. All right. Cat, actually, right here. I got my kitty. Well, folks, peace, love, and photography. And remember, everything can make a beautiful image, including you. You guys have a great afternoon, and I will talk to you tomorrow.